You go to sleep on Sunday being a very wealthy person, working all your life, stacking some money for your pension. You wake up, it's gone. And Bitcoin is like crown jewel of fintech. You have a money and you have a code and everything in one place. It's the perfect thing. If you think what's the essence of fintech, it's Bitcoin. It couldn't get better. Switzerland is banking mecca of the world. If you think about bank, what country do you think about? It's probably 98% is going to be Switzerland. A lot of Bitcoiners, they hate banks, but they don't understand that banks are not making the rules. You have high inflation, you have government that can confiscate whatever. They can do anything, basically.
Yep.
It's a wild west out there. There's a saying, our generation, we're born too late to explore the earth, too early to explore the space, just in time to fix the money. I always wanted to have some kind of legacy behind me. It's less about making money and be super successful or whatever, but just leaving something for the community. That's what drives me.
Hello and welcome to another episode of You're the Voice. I'm Efrat here in Lugano, Switzerland. A pretty rainy day during the summer, which is pretty cool. The weather is great. I'm here chilling with my friend Max Kei. How are you, Max?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and it's a pleasure to record with you. It's not very rainy actually, so.
Yeah, this is very mild.
Yeah, it's good. I mean,
but it's breaking the heat.
Yeah, it's good.
Which is also great here in Lugano. I think everyone that comes here, everyone I speak to is falling in love with this place. Are you one of those
place. Amazing place. That's why we have office here, actually. So I'm coming more and more often. I mean, it's a great place to be, especially if you're a Bitcoiner. It's amazing city, amazing vibe, amazing people.
Is your office here at Plan B?
Yeah, Plan B Hub.
Okay.
Yeah. So we really enjoy the city. We love it.
Amazing. So, Max, a little intro for my audience that may not know you, okay? I'm gonna do it, so it's easier for you. So, Max Kei is the founder and CEO of Debifi, the world's largest non-custodial Bitcoin-backed lending platform for institutions, with a background as a private banker and deep experience in peer-to-peer Bitcoin infrastructure, including his early work at Hodl Hodl. Max has become a leading figure in building privacy-respecting, decentralized financial tools for a post-Fiat future, which I am dreaming about every day. Yeah. Well, actually, we're living it already. His latest venture, Debifi, launched in March 2024. Is that correct? Okay. And is now based in Lugano, Switzerland. I mean, not you, Debifi is, but... and we met first time last year in Brazil.
No, actually,
I think so.
I think we met before
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not like we hang out in Brazil.
Yeah.
Like that was the first time we were hanging out, and it was a lot of fun.
Thanks to Lucas. I mean, SatsConf was amazing.
SatsConf was awesome. Thanks to Lucas. Thanks to Anna, that is like the glue gluing everyone together all the time. Anna is amazing. I thought she was your little sister at the beginning, but then I understood the family connection, and she is like your little sister.
She is like my little sister,
And this one has so much power and energy. She's amazing.
She is. She's a great.
You like working with her?
Of course. I mean, I try to work with people that I like.
Yeah.
I'm already, I think, in that age when you choose the people that you surround yourself with. Life is too short to surround yourself with pricks.
With douchebags and assholes.
Yeah, so I
also had a lot of years like that.
And I think that this is what we discussed yesterday, that Bitcoin allows you to live a life that you want, actually. And, surround yourself with smart, nice people, travel, see other countries, engage with other people. So I think it's really amazing.
Did I miss anything important in your bio? A bit about your background. Maybe?
Yes, actually. You know, I'm also co-founder of Baltic Honeybadger.
Oh, that's correct.
Which is like that's my soul child. It's something that
7 years ago it started.
No, it's actually, it started in 2017, so it's like 8 years. We had two years of non-operational years due to the COVID.
Yes.
And this year is going to be the 7th one. So there will be 10 years around date in 2027.
Wow.
Yeah. I think we're
and why was it born? Baltic Honeybadger?
It's a very funny story, actually. It's podcast type of story.
Go on.
So we, when I started contributed to Hodl Hodl, we were trying to figure it out. You know, we don't have anything. It's 2017. We don't have any particular connection in the space. We don't have marketing budget. Probably it's going to be hard for us to raise because, again, as you said, like the project is like preserving all the core values of Bitcoin. You know, it's non-custodial.
Yep.
You can operate anonymously if you want. It's peer-to-peer, you know, and it's not like the favorite success story for like raising the funds.
Yeah.
So we were thinking how we can promote this venture, and we decided, okay, there's a lot of ICO blockchain style of snake oil conferences happening, and maybe we can make a bold move and do the leap of faith and, you know, do something Bitcoin only. And through that conference, we will be able to promote Hodl Hodl. So we decided like Hodl Hodl is going to be like Apple event for Apple, you know. Baltic Honeybadger, I mean, for Hodl Hodl. And it was crazy. I mean, end of November in Riga. So if you ever been...
I've never been.
Strongly suggest you not to be in Riga end of November because it's like a disaster, because the weather is like worst weather you can get. I mean, wind is blowing from all parts. You cannot turn from it. It's freezing. And it's like, we decided, okay, we're going to do that. And it was 300 people. And I'm really grateful to Andreas Antonopoulos because he was so approachable. And that's another funny story. We were trying to get someone like a superstar, because if you get like a superstar to your event, there's a high chance that others will come as well. And we're thinking, well, who's like the superstar?
Yeah.
And at that time, and I think at this time as well, Andreas is like one of the leading voices and he's a legend. And yeah, we were like thinking how we can do this, you know, maybe someone from our network knows him. Maybe we were like thinking, we were like basically overcomplicated. And then at some point I just went to his website, wrote a message in a contact form, and 15 minutes later he replied.
No
you know,
way.
I'm like, yeah, I'm interested. So Andreas agreed. Then Adam Beck agreed, Giacomo agreed,
Wow.
Peter Todd agreed, Elizabeth Stark agreed. So imagine having that rooster.
And the first time you do it.
First time you do it, 2017, Riga, Latvia, which is like, there was like some speakers coming to our conference asking other speakers, you know, is it safe? I mean, that's that part of the Europe. Now, a lot of them knows that actually Eastern Europe at this point is actually safer than the Western Europe. You know? But at that point, it was like,
yeah, it wasn't
where I'm going.
Yeah.
You know, it's like close to Russia, and there's like,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of perception.
True.
And we had zero community, almost zero community in Latvia, Bitcoiners. So it was like 99%, and still it is. True until this time, until this moment, that 99% of our visitors are coming from abroad. And at the first Baltic Honeybadger, I remember there was a guy, I think he was either from Australia or from Japan, in Riga. And I was like, dude, what are you doing here? It's like,
wow.
It's like we put almost zero efforts towards promoting it.
But that goes to show that it was successful, your strategy to just bring the right
like
people,
it was complete mess in terms of organization, because that was the first event. But everyone enjoyed so much, and there was so high signal that we decided, okay, next year we're going to do one more.
Wow.
And next year we had some people from coming from other conferences that actually was launched 2 years later, that Baltic Honeybadger, that become highly successful in the space. So they were coming in 2018 to Riga and in 2019 to Riga to check it out, how you can organize Bitcoin only. So I would say, I'm not gonna like brag, but I think Baltic Honeybadger kickstarted the modern like wave of Bitcoin conferences in general.
You're the Voice is brought to you by Trezor, the original Bitcoin hardware wallet company pioneering the development of self-custody for crypto assets since 2013, empowering individuals with an open-source device, enabling beginners and experts to easily and securely hold their coins. I find my Trezor super easy to use and recommend it to my friends and family. Enjoy my 5% discount on Trezor products by clicking the link in the show notes and using the code FLAT. Self-custody is powerful, but what if someone forces you to unlock your wallet? Bitcoin settles instantly, and that freedom can also be a risk. BitVault is the first Bitcoin wallet built to protect against both physical attacks and digital hacks. It creates a banking-grade vault on-chain with 2 of 3 multisig, time-delayed transactions, 2 hours to 15 days, giving you space to react, trustless recovery after 1 year, works with trusted hardware wallets, open source, and built with one focus, beyond keys, protecting humans. Only 42 lifetime subscriptions are available at $199 forever. Head over to bitvault.sv to sign up and use code FLAT for 10% off.
This is a super interesting and just putting like my marketing hat on after 20 years of being in the business of tech and marketing, and I've done hundreds of exhibitions and conferences and all that stuff. I think what I'm seeing in this industry, like in the Bitcoin echo chamber, that is so different from any other tech industry that I was part of, is that the strongest thing in this community, in this industry, is the ethos and the community, like, and the mission. The fact that everyone is aligned to the same mission and everyone cares about, really, it's not the NGU. I'm not talking about today's conferences that you have so many of them and you can choose your NGU type of conference and go to it and you'll find your peers. I'm talking about the real signal, no noise kind of conferences. You get all these people coming from all over the world, and you get that first hurdle removed very quickly with the speaker saying yes, even if it's a first-time conference, because they are aligned on the mission. You know, you approach someone, he doesn't even know you, and he doesn't even know the place or the conference. Yeah. He would say yes because you have this thing in common called Bitcoin, and you both want to progress the world to the same direction. So for him, it's a tick on his target list anyway. Why wouldn't he say yes? It was similar in Madeira, right? When Andre started this and he's like, okay, I want Jeff Booth, I want Jack Mallers, I want this, I want that. They all said yes. They don't know him. They don't know the place. They don't know the conference. They'll all come. And it became like a super successful conference right off the bat because everyone's aligned before it even starts. Yeah. And you guys have discovered that, like, okay, we're going to do it. It works. Everyone wants this. And it will continue to work, even if it's small in terms of quantity and scale, which it will grow, I think, in the next decade.
No, we're actually blessed with, Honeybadger is, well, first of all, to answer your question about Hodl Hodl and Baltic Honeybadger, the story behind. So Baltic Honeybadger initially a marketing event for Hodl Hodl, but it becomes so successful
that it should be its own thing.
So it's an own thing now. But I think regarding the sizes of the conference, that's another interesting point, because we decided initially that we're going to keep it like very low and below 1,000 people, because I think that's the capacity that you can basically engage with everyone at the conference, right? Mm-hmm. And the only thing that I would like to warn, and I see like signs, we're and you can disagree with me, but we're probably in a bull market to some extent, right? Although it's a very silent bull market, there's no messages, no calling, nobody calls you, asks you about this like fancy digital thing. But I see that there's more and more conferences popping up there and here and there. And I just wanted to warn all the people who are doing this is like, guys, this is very hard.
Yep.
And you need to think long term, because I saw that last time there was a lot of conferences during the last bull market, and now like most of them are gone. So I mean, think twice when you're gonna, because like, again, we're blessed with Honeybadger. I think we had a kind of first mover advantage, and we have a very loyal guest base.
Yep.
So we always have like, I would say at least 50% of people that are coming to Baltic Honeybadger. These are returning like guests. They're always, so we literally don't, and it's not our bread and butter conference organizing. You know, we actually want to, like, you know, we want to cancel this stuff. But, you know, every year there's people coming and saying, you need to do one more, you need to do one more.
They will not allow you to
like, Anna is so kind. She's always like, after every conference, she said, no, that was the last one. Then it's like 3 months. You know, she had some rest, and then like, yeah, maybe we can, you know, because then this and that. And, you know, we're blessed with that. It's not our bread and butter. If I would be just conference organizer, I would probably go nuts, because it's like highly competitive.
Super tough business.
And the issue is that, fortunately or unfortunately, I would say 80% of all speakers going to the conferences are actually the same people, because like the same people continually deliver in the space. And, you know, it's like, it's not like the space is hostile towards new people, but it's like, you obviously want to hear about what's like Adam Beck is doing recently, or what's Giacomo is doing recently. So, I mean, that type of, which is again good. It means that there's a lot of people coming into Bitcoin space and in the Bitcoin space with high conviction rate, and they're here for a long run. It's not like just hyping around, but it's still like, you know, I just, from time to time, I open websites of other conferences, I see the agenda, and I'm like, okay, this is like, it's like every month we have a meetup of the same people in different parts of the world, kind of like that. If we're talking about speakers, of course, like, right? So that's a bit complicated. But again, as I said, we're in a very good position because we just do it out of fun, and you know, we can have a pleasure of not accepting some of the sponsors because they just don't align with our ethos. You know, if we've canceled a lot of not speakers, a lot of sponsors who are like, hey, we're doing this wrapped Bitcoin stuff, you know, maybe Web3, maybe we can like throw money at you. No, we're not going to do that.
I love that.
Right.
Yeah. I get so many of those messages. I'm like, not even answering.
I think everyone who's had certain traction in the space will have these messages. But yeah, it's like, it's very tempting sometimes. But overall, I think it's like Bitcoin is about low time preference, and it actually proves.
So this is a good entry into my first question to you, outside of your experience in bio. About Bitcoin specifically. So you spent 10 years in private banking, right?
More? More, actually.
A lot more?
11 plus.
Okay. Before you went down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, what was the moment that made you realize your client sending $15,000 in Bitcoin to Brazil wasn't crazy, but actually ahead of the curve?
Yeah. So we were sitting in Riga in the very nice bank office. You know, it was like high-end luxury office, something like that. And we were sitting with him, and he was like very, you know, he was the type of people who's always onto something new, you know. sometimes they get distracted, but innovator or
Yeah.
visionary to some extent. And he's like, was showing me, okay, at some point I'm going to stop coming to you and like stop being your customer, because you see now I'm going to send 15,000 to my friend in Brazil in like in minutes, and I'm going to pay like, at that point the fees was very low. They are low actually at the moment.
Yeah, they
at
are
that
low.
point. And he sent like, he paid like, I don't remember, something below like 20 cents for sending 50, and it was almost instantly. And
you're a banker, you're looking at
but I was like, okay, like, dude, it's like some kind of whatever scam,
Yeah.
you know, like shell money or something like that. Fine. But then at some point I started researching, and just, it kind of hooked me up, and I decided, probably banks are, I have a theory that I think that a lot of Bitcoiners, they think, we're going to destroy the banks. I don't think we need to destroy the banks, and I don't think the banks will be destroyed. I think banks will adapt. And this is what we're doing with Debifi. We try to provide them with necessary infrastructure for this new, like, let's call it like digital money age, Bitcoin age, right? So I don't think some of them will be obsolete, of course, like the highly conservative, boring, whatever. But most of them will just adapt, and they will become like, infrastructure providers, because we still need fiat, and we still need that stuff. We still need infrastructure. Why
do we still need fiat?
Because and that's another thing that many Bitcoiners doesn't understand, if we're moving to the Bitcoin standard, it has to happen gradually, because if it's going to happen instantly, then it means that there's some kind of black swan event in the world, which means that there will be a lot of suffering. A lot of people will suffer. A lot of people will lose money. A lot of people will be broken, not financially, but also mentally. And obviously you don't want to have that around you, because it's also insecure for you. Even if you have all Bitcoins in the world, it's highly insecure if people around are just, trying to survive.
Yeah.
What's the point then?
Of course.
Because I was born in Soviet Union, and by the age of 18, my country changed currency 4 times.
Oof.
4 times, because it was like Soviet Union rubles, then we got independence. We had one currency, then we had another currency. Then when we joined Euro zone, it was a euro. Like the euro, only the last one was a normal change, because you had like grace period. You have a time when you can exchange. It was a fixed course. The first two changes of the currency, it was basically you go to sleep on Sunday being a very wealthy person, having working all your life at your 50 or 60. And stacking some money for your pension.
Yep.
You wake up, it's gone. So I've been through that process. I was very small, but I saw, and I have a very vivid memory about how some people were acting and how complicated it was for a lot of people. And not many Bitcoiners understand that. I think that's a very wrong perception when you say like, tomorrow we need to move. It was brutal, I guess. Yeah, it's brutal. So, I mean, what's the point of having amazing sound money, which Bitcoin is? And I'm not saying it's not, but if like people around you suffering, of course, a lot of them can say like, well, through suffering, they will, maybe there's another way, Right. Maybe there's like gradually.
Or maybe just the blow doesn't have to be so hard.
Yeah. Or maybe
sometimes it's lethal. Sometimes when the blow is so hard, it just causes so much destruction.
I mean, maybe there will be some hopefully there will be some authorities, government authority, because like general public, they still listen to what government says, and That's kind of bad, but that's kind of good, because you need to have a certain level of control and order in a society. It's not, chaos is a great thing, and a lot of things happening from chaos, but obviously you don't want people running around the streets, stabbing other people trying to get some food and money, right? You want to avoid that. And maybe there will be some governments that will gradually understand, okay, we're pretty much doing a lot of things wrong. Fiat system is not working, not performing. We need to move gradually to Bitcoin standard or to some type of money that is backed by Bitcoin, for example. We need to have some reserves in Bitcoin, which is happening at the moment. I think it's just going to increase. Government adoption, state adoption is just going to increase.
Tired of feeling like your freedom and future are fading away? Do you live in a country with growing inflation, crazy housing prices, weird culture, and a chaotic economy? You're not alone, and my friend Mikkel Thorpe and his team at Expat Money can help. Mikkel is the world's leading expat consultant on a mission to free you from broken systems. He's been an expat for 25 years, lived in 9 different countries, and has helped hundreds of people with second residencies and passports, offshore banking, international investing, and many other essential tools. If you're serious about protecting your wealth and your family, it's not enough to hope things will get better. You need a plan B in another country. The team at Expat Money can help you build it legally, safely, and without wasting years of research. Visit expatmoney.com/eflat and leave your details for a follow-up. I want to introduce you to Abundant Minds because they take a very different approach to Bitcoin mining. Most people buy Bitcoin, but the smart ones mine it straight into self-custody. With Abundant Minds, you can do it without giving up your privacy. Abundant Minds was founded by Bo and Christine Marie Turner, a couple who lost more than $500,000 to providers making empty promises. Instead of walking away, they built a company that raises the industry standard and puts client first, and that's why I like them. With Abundant Minds, you own your machines. They never touch your Bitcoin, never skim a revenue share, and you choose your own mining pool. Their customer care is unusual. Clients speak to a real person for self-custody education, privacy consulting, and even visiting their site. They serve clients from around the world, but US investors specifically enjoy a big tax benefit and 100% bonus depreciation. This is more than just mining Bitcoin. It's about freedom, privacy, and purpose. You can book a free strategy call, see how it works, and mine some of your first Bitcoin for free with a special offer for my audience. Learn more on abundantminds.com/eflat.
And even if they don't adopt it, but they become friendly or not hostile to it and allow the market to open up to it, then that could definitely accelerate the change.
And I think that it's going to happen. It's just we need to have patience. We need to continue working. We need to continue promoting, because if you look at the history, like MicroStrategy, like corporate adoption, Michael Saylor bought first Bitcoin in August 2020. We're in 2025, and only this year we see a lot of treasury companies.
Yep.
It was like four years, 4 complete years, even 5, I would say, when everyone get it, right? So this is it takes time, and governments just started, discussing this idea. Absolutely. Yes, El Salvador was the first one, but you need to have someone like US, and they finally waking up. They're talking about this more and more. They're trying to bring attention. Eventually, at some point in the future, it's going to happen, and there will be I think, again, it's gradually, then suddenly. Same what happened with treasury companies. First it was MicroStrategy. Nobody, it was a big thing for us, but in general public was, even professional investment public was what's happening? And then, August 2020, and now we're almost in August 2025. And it's basically every day you hear this news, like there's a public company here buying Bitcoin. There's a public company there. You know, this is what happened eventually. But it took us 4 years.
It's like a slowed down popcorn process.
Yeah.
Because the cooking of the corn kernels, it takes a long time.
Yeah.
But once it gets to that heating point, they all start to pop.
Yeah.
So you're saying 5 years, but I'll take you back only 1 year ago. I interviewed Saylor, and one of my questions to him was, are you being approached by other CEOs to do the same as what you're doing? Because at the time, he wasn't.
Yeah.
Or maybe there was 1 or 2 people talking to him behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And he was telling me, from time to time, and it's only starting, but I think it's going to accelerate. So within 1 year, look what happened. So that 1 year is like that popping of that popcorn for corporations.
Yeah.
So you're right. It's the brewing takes longer.
Yeah.
It takes much longer.
Of course.
Especially for behemoth kind of organizations like governments.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big public institutions.
Yeah. So,
Even private companies are bigger entities.
So I hope that we'll move to like a perfect form of money, which I believe Bitcoin is, but it hasn't been. It must be something with Bitcoin. It could be like money based and supported by Bitcoin to some extent, right?
So, but then I want to take you back to your experience as a banker, and you're saying banks will adapt to it. You think that in banking we are going to see banks are so rigid. They're so like, you were a banker, like how many beliefs do you have to undo and unlearn in order to be open to this other way of working?
You know, I was fascinated by fintech always. I was trying to find my niche because I didn't want to work in a bank all the time. I wanted to, like, I was very fascinated. By that time there was like Revolut already, and other like neobanks, and I was like really impressed by what they were doing, how they were optimizing. I was really excited about that. And then I discovered Bitcoin. It was like a perfect storm. And Bitcoin is like crown jewel of fintech. You have a money and you have a code and everything in one place.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the perfect thing. If you think what's the essence of fintech, it's Bitcoin. Right? It's finance and tech, you know. It couldn't get better.
That's true.
So for me it was like revelation moment, right? I was searching for the answer, kind of. I know I sound like a religious person, but I was searching for some solution, and at that point I was maybe lucky, but also, you know, those who search, they will find, you know, those who work, the luck will come, you know, as my father says. And for me it was like that, but I think like banks in general, highly conservative people. Most of the people working in banks or decision makers still like people in their 50s, 60s, people of old system, you know. But look at Switzerland.
Right.
Switzerland is a banking mecca of the world. You know, ask anyone in the world, what's your, like, if you think about bank, what country do you think about? It's like it's probably 98% is going to be Switzerland. Everyone will say chocolate, cheese, watches,
banking,
cheese. Not maybe France can, like, you know, compete with them, but I mean chocolate, banking, watches. It's going to be Switzerland, right? And you look at what's happening in Switzerland. You know, there's a lot of private banks who already work with Bitcoin. They want to have Bitcoiners as a customers. You can buy Bitcoin through them. You can store Bitcoin with them. They don't ask questions. I mean, what is it? What is it? They offer you service. You can borrow against your Bitcoin through the bank. If you will, first time I was in Switzerland, Not the first time I was in Switzerland. First time I was in German part of Switzerland, in Zug. I went out at the train station because I had a meeting there, and there was a huge advertising by Zug Cantonal Bank, which is Canton Bank of Zug, and it was like, "You have Bitcoin, come to us, open a bank account."
When was that?
It was a year ago, a bit more than a year ago. I think it was April or March 2024. And I was like, it's a cantonal bank.
Yeah.
And there's like private banks, cantonal banks in Switzerland already working with Bitcoin. So it's already happening.
Yeah.
And I mean, Switzerland is like highly conservative country, and they're highly successful with their banking industry. So I strongly suggest every banker that is outside of the Switzerland, if you want to have some competitive advantage, I strongly suggest think about adding Bitcoin or trying to get some Bitcoin products into your bank, because if what Switzerland is doing in banking eventually gonna happen with everyone else. They're innovators in here. They have a first mover advantage. A lot of customers from outside of Switzerland, they basically having a new wave of customers. Before that was like bank secrecy stuff for them, and there was a lot of people coming. I think first wave was that Switzerland was neutral, and there was a lot of capital parked here. Not necessarily good capital, in a way that the capital provider can be both bad person and good person, but it happened. Then there was like a case with informational disclosure. I think now the new wave of customers outside of the Switzerland is that they have a very friendly regulation towards like digital assets and Bitcoin in particular. And there's a lot of people coming from across the globe to Swiss banks willing to open a bank account, because you can simultaneously in one bank account store your fiat and your Bitcoin. And that's amazing. That just blows your mind, right? And this is what's going to happen. So if you're in the banking outside of the Switzerland, I strongly suggest you look at what's happening here, because they have a first mover advantage. They've been innovating banking industry for thousands of years.
And they're not going to give it up anytime soon.
And everyone, wow, Switzerland's so successful. Small countries, no commodities buried in the soil. They don't have anything. But how they are successful? That's how they are successful. Making bold moves sometimes, but it's happening and it pays off. I mean, I was talking with one of the banks just yesterday, and they told me like our Bitcoin lending and borrowing like business is like one of the fastest growing businesses recently, and that proves a lot. Proves our personal theory within the company, and proves that there's a huge demand for Bitcoin. And
that's what Preston was talking about yesterday in his talk here, but also in the podcast about the innovator's dilemma, and the fact that big corporations always need to have this small chunk of their business targeted towards how do I innovate and create a new revenue stream and create the advantage that I don't have with my legacy products. And this is becoming it in banking.
Yeah.
Interesting. That just takes me to, it may be like a too deep of a rabbit hole and we don't have to go there, but it just takes me naturally to the difference in nature between the fiat-based fractional reserve system of commercial banking versus Bitcoin that is supposed to be more honest and should not allow you to rehypothecate. I mean, it can, but then you're a scammer. So how do those things live side by side in a banking mechanism? Or is that like all based on regulation and local laws and things like that?
I think it's based on regulation heavily. Of course, like banks, they must obey the rules. And I would say that, again, we're returning to the question that, a lot of Bitcoiners, they hate banks, but they don't understand that banks are not making the rules. So it's actually the end boss is like authorities that create those rules. So a lot of bankers that I've been talking with who say we cannot do that. I mean, there's a reason. They cannot do that not because they don't have will or
Cannot do what?
Like work with Bitcoin.
Okay.
Outside of Switzerland.
Okay.
Right? It's not because they don't want or they hate Bitcoin or they think it's like threat, whatever. It's because the regulation there is just outdated and they don't have a legal framework how to operate with Bitcoin. So to the question of rehypothication, I mean, it's actually also happening within our space. What do you want to expect from like fiat bros if even Bitcoiners are still launching custodial services in 2025? I'm talking particularly about lending, and some of these services, continue to rehypothecate customer money. You expect people outside to do differently,
Right.
I mean, we need to set an example. This is what we are doing, and a lot of companies, I'm happy about.
With Debifi.
Yeah, we're doing with Debifi, but there's a lot of companies in the lending space who are also taking this approach. No rehypothecation. Bitcoin sits where it sits. You put it in the collateral in one address, it's going to be the same address by the end of the contract. We're not going to move your Bitcoin, which is great. But then again, we move to the phase 2, which is like providing non-custodial setup for the collateral storage, because it's like, I still need to trust you, even if you have proof of reserves, which a lot of not only lending, it's becoming a new fancy thing, proof of reserves, which is great. It's definitely a step forward, but proof of reserves only proves that the Bitcoin that customer put it in a certain address is still there. It doesn't prove how keys to this address are stored, what are the security measures, who holds the keys to this address, because it could be not necessary the platform that you're working through. Right. It could be a custodian, other custodian. So you're basically effectively trusting not one entity, but two entities, or it can be like multiple entities. So, I mean, proof of reserve is definitely a step forward.
But it's not enough, you're saying.
Huh?
It's not enough.
It's not enough. I believe it's not enough. I actually believed it in 2022 when BlockFi, Celsius, FTX, everything was happening. We are in 2025. We have an amazing technology, which is called Multisig. It's been there for years, right? We have companies that pioneered this technology, like Unchained Capital, Hodl Hodl, and a lot of them. And the thing that a lot of founders saying, well, we need to build good UI UX. You need to build a good security first, because even if you have fancy, nice UI UX, if you're going to lose customer money, nobody will care what your application or platform look like. People will care about that you lost their Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So you put security first, and then you move to other parts of the equation.
Yeah.
And I think like in 2025, okay, you provide a custodial lending services or whatever custodial services you have, even if it's trading or whatever. I know that building non-custodial tools is harder. It's longer to ship to the market, a proper one. But I mean, add a non-custodial feature to your set of tools, and you can have an optionality to offer to the customer. You can do this way, and by the way, you can do this that way with us. And this is what we are with Debifi also like building inside that. We want to offer optionality to other businesses, and even to like lending platforms that think that we're competing with them. We're not competing with anyone. We're just technology provider, and we're also technology provider for custodial lending platforms in the space.
Okay.
We're not technology provider for those who want to lend using Bitcoin as a collateral. We're also technology provider for any exchange out there or any custodial lending platform out there that wants to offer non-custodial approach to their customers. So effectively, we're complementing.
You can be white labeled.
We can be white label. We're gonna be white label. So it's like, it's a very, like, we're not competing over the customers, because again, we focus on the technology.
Right.
And we don't intend to lend money by ourselves. We don't want to touch money, actually. We just want to provide a tech. That's our thing.
Okay.
And this is what we're effectively trying to achieve and, you know, communicate to the market. You know, we are in talks with some of the custodial lenders. And there are some custodial lenders who actually understand that, hey, we do understand that we can bring more customers if we're going to offer a non-custodial approach.
Right.
Hey, we can complement our existing features and we can actually collaborate instead of competing.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of them that, you know, going on the easy ride. And I'm not saying that we're going to repeat the unfortunate set of events, what's happened with Celsius, BlockFi, and FTX. I'm sure most probably we're not going to repeat that in the lending space, at least at that magnitude that was happening. But I'm sure there will be some issues. And I mean, I think that Bitcoiners who will become, or they are your customers, they deserve better in 2025, you know? And I really don't understand when people are saying, oh, things doesn't work like that. They do work. It's just, you need to put a bit more effort to that. And it's hard. I know that. It's probably not going to move fast, you know, break things, right? It's going to be move slow and build things. But I mean, we're Bitcoiners. We have to have low time preference, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And I wanted to ask you specifically with Debifi about the approach that you chose to take of 3 out of 4 multisig.
Yeah.
As opposed to the 2 out of 3, which is what you normally see when people implement multisig. So what's the problem you're solving with this design, with your choice?
It's actually security. You know, we've been working with 2 out of 3 in Hodl Hodl. And 2 out of 3 works well. It's really great. But we believe at some point that for large volume loans like 1 million or 2 million, 5 million, 10 million, even adding one extra signature is already like magnitude higher security level and confidence. We're going to offer 2 out of 3 as well on Debifi. So we're going to offer optionality, 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4. We're actually going to offer other types of multisig setup. So it's going to be like multiple different options to choose. We're actually building Debifi as, I like to give this example of, you know, if you're a gamer, there's like games with open world where you can just, there's a map and you can do whatever you want.
Roam around.
Yeah, just
discover stuff.
Yeah, like one of the great examples is Grand Theft Auto, GTA, where you can just drive a car, you can go do some side missions, and, you know, it's like, so what we're building with Debifi effectively is like fully flexible technology infrastructure, like platform, where if you're a lender, you can set whatever terms you like, whatever LTV ratio you like, whatever interest rate, margin call, you can choose at some point. You will be able to choose at some point, you know, the multisig setup that you're operating on. So like full flexibility.
Yeah.
And, but we started with 3 out of 4 because, and it's a very simple explanation. Out of 4 keys, 2 are stored with, like institutions, like with Debifi, and we have authorized key holder, which is also like Bitcoin company that operates in space. At the moment, we're working with Anchor Watch, and we're adding more authorized key holders. So at some point, you will be able to like choose who will hold the fourth key.
Yeah.
And then there's a lender and borrower as well, right? So in order to move the collateral, you need to have at least 3 keys.
Right.
And if we make a very like pessimistic assumption that, let's say, borrower is a bad actor, for whatever reason, he managed to get the lender's key.
Right.
Because again, if you remember, Debifi itself, we don't provide liquidity, we just provide
the tech.
infrastructure tech. So we don't know, we can support you and supply you, and we're already doing this with Debifi, with basically the best set of skills in order to secure your key to the collateral. But there's always like social engineering. There's always human factor. There could be a collision of interest between representative of lender and the borrower. I don't know how they use the tools that we provide to them, how they store the. So if it's 2 out of 3, borrower gets lender keys and funds get swiped from the
game,
from the collateral, from the escrow. If it's 3 out of 4, you still need to make one extra step and try to get into either Debifi or authorized key holder. So it just complicates and creates the entry barrier for the bad actor to perform their actions. I'm not saying it's like 100% bulletproof system. It's never 100% bulletproof system. There's no
perfect
100% bulletproof system. But it's already like a significant increase in the security level. And I mean, we've supported our customers with opportunity to store their keys on a hardware wallets. You know, we support Cold Card. We support now Tap Signers. So, I mean, it's a cheaper alternative, still very secure. So, I mean, you can provide all the best tools, and like Debifi been through security audits, we're open source, like whatever. But I mean, there's always a human factor. So for us,
which is the thing that is unpredictable and hard.
So for us, it was like kind of experiment as well. So we tried to test it out, our theory with like adding one extra key to the equation, but it went well and it's going well. But as I said, we're still going to offer you an optionality. So if you want to keep it simple, 2 out of 3, I mean, why not?
Be our guest.
There was like there is like Unchained. They're doing 2 out of 3. They are securing.
I had Joe Kelly was
an enormous amount of money. They've been highly successful, super professional, so it works very well. And they have their own approach. We have our own approach, and like, works like this.
Amazing. And then, what type of organizations are coming to you now that there is like no limit on the loan size that you
as a borrower or as a lenders? Because the case with Debifi is that as a lender you can only be institution, so you can only lend out money. If you're an institution, you're allowed to provide loans.
That's what I mean. So what kind of scale of institutions you see? You now have like the loans can be expanded to 24 months, right? So that's a different scale already.
Mostly at the moment fund managers, like private funds, hedge funds. Then it's family offices, because they have a flexibility of different investment strategy, and they can perform differently. And then the third is asset managers, you know. But we are on the track to, you know, attract some big players from like banking industry.
Interesting.
We think it's going to be huge, because eventually one of our initial goals was to put banks on a multisig standard. because again, we do believe that we can do that and it's achievable.
Well, I think you're pretty good in a pretty good position to have them as your target market with your background in banking and everything. You know how to speak their language.
Yes, but
and it's not easy, I understand, from what we talked about, right?
Yeah.
With the
it takes a lot of time.
Innovation mindset and the processes of these big corporations.
Yeah, they have a lot of different units, like risk departments, legal departments, security this, security that, which is good. I mean,
that's why they're banks.
Yeah, they have policies and we respect that, and we go with them together, hand by hand, and we do understand it's important to explain everything. Yeah, it's just 10 extra steps, but I believe that strategically it's very, very good thing to have, and you don't need to be afraid of doing extra steps sometimes if the price is really big.
I'm with you. Taking you a little bit to a broader picture. So Debifi supports loans in stablecoins, dollars, euros, and Swiss francs, and also adding other currencies right down the line. What's driving that currency strategy, and what patterns are you seeing in different regions?
Very, very simple. As I said, we're a technology provider. So if we have a liquidity provider who goes to us and saying, okay, I have money in Swiss francs, I want to lend out Swiss francs.
You will open that market.
We're gonna add Swiss franc in basically 2 weeks.
Okay.
If there's a liquidity provider coming to us saying, hey, I have a lot of money in Mexican peso, 2 weeks Mexican peso is
got it. Pretty simple.
So it's like again, it's highly scalable platform that we're building. As long as we have a lender in any certain market that allow to provide liquidity in whatever currency they prefer, we can just
Okay, so then let's zoom on a certain type of currency, stablecoins, which is also one that you accept. What's your opinion? How do you see the role of stablecoins evolving, and the latest US legislation around stablecoins? What is your opinion about that? Especially your take on people calling stablecoins CBDCs, like this is the next CBDC. What do you think of?
I mean, for me personally, I think, and I thought about this like 5 years ago, I had the same view. Like stablecoins are a bridge to Bitcoin. People who are using fiat, I would say there's like 10 times less opportunity for them to discover Bitcoin than for those comparing to those who are using stablecoins, because eventually you are using stablecoins, you're already in like digital asset. You already get familiar with the stuff. You get familiar with peer-to-peer, right? How to send, how to receive. And then at some point you're going to discover obviously Bitcoin. So I would say stablecoins are like gateway drug to Bitcoin. It's a good way to orange pill a decent amount of people. I do understand the use case of stablecoins. I know that a lot of people in developed countries, they don't get it. But if you live in developing countries,
you get it.
It's like a lifeline for you.
Absolutely.
Right? Mm-hmm. You have high inflation, you have government that can confiscate whatever. They can do anything, basically. It's a wild west out there. So when I see some people from developed countries, oh no, stacking Bitcoin, you have a pleasant opportunity to have extra money in your stable, well-developed country to have and invested in Bitcoin. People outside of developed countries in emerging markets, they don't have that opportunity. Mm-hmm. They don't have that privilege. They're using stablecoins. And this is what we see from our business, that USDT, for example, Trezor, highly used in emerging markets. It's like a lifeline for people. People borrowing, people trading, people doing a lot of stuff with that. And that's great. They eventually will end up you first give them opportunity to be at least, to feel stable.
Yeah.
And then at some point they will have some extra money and they will consider, okay, maybe I should consider this thing called Bitcoin. And I can easily swap from Trezor or any other stablecoins to Bitcoin. The infrastructure is already there and it's getting better. So my personal view on stable coins, bring on. I mean, more and more, it's way more better. We see it from our lenders as well on the institutional side. Some of our lenders that started both with fiat and stable coins now going stablecoin only. They don't want to touch fiat because they said, like, last time I sent the loan to the borrower, the bank freeze it for 5 days and I had to go through multiple rings of
communication,
circles of hell,
Yes.
providing them with all the necessary documentation. With stable coins, as soon as collateral in the multisig, under 5 minutes, borrower gets their money.
Yep.
So I think that stable coins is just a better form of fiat money. And I would say we are very much encouraging stablecoin adoption. We're very much encouraging that there's more and more like liquidity in stablecoins because it makes our life so much easier. Especially if we're talking about stablecoins like Trezor that is built on Liquid, which is Bitcoin technology effectively, or Lightning, which is Bitcoin technology. The more we see that, well, personally, the happier I will be. All right. And there's a lot of, I don't think there's any, I mean, you can have an issue with other blockchains, and you can be principled, which I respect. But when there's a Trezor on Liquid or Trezor on Lightning, well, it's a green light for most of Bitcoiners to start using it as well. I don't see any issues with that, and I fully support that, and I think it's a great thing. And honestly, I do think that like stablecoin issuers, they're actually in some regions they're like helping a lot. Of course they're making money, right?
Yeah,
but
sure.
It's like it's a business, sure. Of course, it's about money making, and there's a lot of controversy. It's not as I would say it's not as permissionless as Bitcoin, because it can be traced, it can be blocked to some extent, but it's still, if you compare it with fiat, it's 100 times better than fiat. So if we are forced, or we want to use, or we need to use fiat for a certain amount of time of period, as we discussed at the beginning, you obviously want to happen everything gradually. I would prefer for next, 20 years, 30 years, using stable coins. Because another important thing that stable coins actually allows is like peer-to-peer. Again, you just remove the middleman, and that's very important.
So even though banks will be issuing their own stable coins or using other third-party stable coins, they effectively are lowering their involvement in the transaction.
I can at least at this point, I can deposit, like again in Switzerland, I can deposit stable coins in my bank account. And it will be a bit harder for me to send it to whoever I want to send, because bank may say, okay, that address particularly is like blacklisted or something like that. But also as a stable, like with stable coins, I can be outside of the banking system.
Right.
And
so you can choose how to do it.
Yeah.
Whether inside or outside.
There's optionality for me.
Got it.
With fiat, I can use cash, but then how you transfer cash?
There are other shortcomings.
Yeah, to other country, like it's really hard. With stablecoin, I can do that pretty much easily.
So I think what's important to remember in this discussion, especially when all the fear is surfacing for people who are not very familiar with this space, is how nuanced this is. So you need to look at the pros and the cons for everything. As you said before, there's never something that is perfect. There are always advantages and disadvantages, but the moment you introduce a new tool or a new technology and you get better optionality, you are then if you educate yourself, you are then freer to choose
Yeah.
what you want to use and how and in which direction or in which geography, etc. And I agree with you. Like I definitely understand the fear that people hold, but if you remove the emotional, bias or emotional part from this thing and you just look at it in a cold way, there are more options now and you can operate in a different way. And if you also zoom out and look at this from a time perspective as a transitory phase until we get to like a new reality on a Bitcoin standard, then this serves a purpose.
Yeah. And I mean, again, there's a lot of people, most of the people who are complaining about stable coins, eating something from Bitcoin, and most of them, I'm not saying everyone, because I envision that there might be comments when this will be released,
there are always comments.
I'm from like emerging market, and I hate stable coins, whatever.
Right.
Like, but most of the people who are trying to be very vocal against stable coin are coming from well-developed countries.
Right. Correct.
So basically, these are like well-fed up people who are teaching hungry people how to survive.
That's a very good way of putting it. Yeah.
That's.
You're saying like humble yourself, go live there for a bit and see what life is like.
If you have a salary or paycheck of $200 and you receive it in your local currency, and or your local currency have a track record of being inflated at an enormous pace, and you need to have this $200 worth of buying capacity for the next month or whatever, like because your life and life of your closest ones depends on that. Honestly, who cares?
Right.
And I mean, you just convert it to stablecoin, and you have certain stability in your life.
Yeah.
And then at some point you will learn, and again, as I said, it's like a gateway drug to Bitcoin.
Right.
I mean, these people, they don't have extra money to invest in Bitcoin, and stop like a lot of like, I think it's also hypocrisy. Stack this and that. They don't think about stacking. They think about surviving, right? When you're hungry, you don't think that, hey, I need to save some money for whatever. You think, hey, I need to satisfy my basic needs. I need to provide for my family. I need to work harder maybe. And when I get there, when I'm going to satisfy the first level, then I'm going to think of, maybe having some long-term strategy of stacking sats.
Or even just, I'll save for the next month. That's like their long-term view. It's not a year.
This is what a lot of people, Bitcoin is still, whatever you say, it's still volatile. Yes, on the scale of like 4 or 5 years, it's like performing well, always performing well so far. But I mean, we're talking about weeks and months here. We're not talking about years. These people, they don't have years. They have a month to survive.
Correct.
Right? Or they need to pay someone, or it's a small business that needs to pay to other country.
Right.
They won't be able to open a bank account fast. They might not be able to open a bank account at all in their country. They will be losing a lot of money in fees. And with stablecoin, they can just convert almost instantly and like send money abroad, and the business will go on. Right?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that view. It's important to go into those nuances. All right, we're coming to the end of our interview. I would love to hear from you. What gives you motivation, aspiration? What gives you hope?
I really enjoy what I'm doing, honestly, and I think I'm blessed with that I enjoy what I'm doing, and I think a lot of Bitcoiners are blessed with that. We don't actually appreciate how amazing this space is.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be probably very standard answer, but like my people who are close to me, who support me, family, that gives me a lot of motivation. But also, you know, I truly believe that Bitcoin is you know, we were there's a saying, we are born, our generation, we are born too late to explore the earth, too early to explore the space, just in time to fix the money.
Oh, beautiful.
So I think we are actually we're onto something big here. I think we are doing great thing, and I think that again in 2025 we don't have, as a society, as individuals, we don't have a private property in a form that it was like 100 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. If you look at anything, any asset that you have, it's basically not your asset, right? You have money in a bank account, great. You know, it is yours. But if something goes wrong or someone thinks you are doing something wrong, not your money. You have a house, not your house. You have whatever you have. And Bitcoin is like, it's a purest form of private property. And I think maybe my background with what I've been like through in a very minimal way with, you know, growing up in a country that was like, yesterday it was one country, today it's another country. You know, you see how some people struggle, some people are lucky, some people are like, I think that was a huge example for me. And I think that Bitcoin actually provides you for a freedom, and like true freedom in terms of how you interact with other people financially. And I think that's crucial and important. Of course, like we want to make money and we want our projects to be successful, right? But I think there's a bigger motivation. For me, bigger motivation is that I think Bitcoin brings the true freedom. And I think it's important for us. It's time for us to unleash this like true freedom, educate people and move and change the system that we're working in. Because we already have a freedom of knowledge with internet. We also have a freedom of communication. Basically, I don't need to rely on any mobile network. I can just buy a phone, go to any Wi-Fi and call anyone in the world. So I don't need to like rely on any mobile network provider. So there's freedom of information, freedom of communication. We need to have a freedom of money. I think that's the last piece of the puzzle. As soon as we will have that, we might, as a community, we might enter a new bright age, hopefully, you know. But I mean, it sounds very nice, but there's also a lot of contra, you know, a lot of forces, a lot of fighting, and it's not going to be the easy road. But I think there's like Bitcoiners in general are a group of very curious, smart people, stubborn, I would say, and that's really good. I mean, and we all have different opinions again. But I would love us to start respecting other opinions.
I love it.
You know, yeah. So I didn't answer your question.
You
what
did.
Motivates me?
You answered it beautifully.
But I mean,
amen to everything you said.
There's a lot of stuff. I just enjoy being in this space, and I just enjoy doing my stuff. And I think we're onto something big. And I think we're changing the world, and that excites me because, like, personally, I always wanted to have some kind of legacy behind me. It's less about making like money and be super successful or whatever, but just leaving something for the community. That what drives me.
So I'll tell you a little secret as we finish off.
Okay.
Normally people say that, you know, when you speak at events, you, Max, speak at events, like either on a panel or a keynote or whatever, you always finish very quickly because you're right to the point. You're like, you know what you want to say, you go there, you say it, and that's it. And I was thinking maybe it will be difficult to have a conversation with you because you will just finish very quickly, and you just opened up. And that was a pleasure to have that type of conversation with you.
I mean,
yeah, you do.
It's just sometimes, at the events, sometimes there's like 4 panelists. They already said what I wanted to say, and like,
right, you
I'm
don't
not
want to
repeat the
that.
same stuff. I'm just okay. We agree.
You're a well of knowledge, and it was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you as well.
Yeah, I'm very grateful. I can tell you're grateful for what you're doing, and I'm grateful for what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for being with us. Please take a minute to give this episode a like, a comment, and subscribe or follow. And please share it with your friends so they can also get value